All right, ladies, we're going to get started. You probably won't be able to, well, I guess I can turn it to where they can see us or see me. Okay, that'll be good.
Will they be able to see what we're presenting?
Yeah, I'm sharing my screen with them.
Oh, so they're not going to see it when we talk, though, right?
Yeah, I'll show up in the corner for them.
Oh.
All right.
Nice.
Awesome. Megan, can you hear us? Sweet. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. Do you have everybody in here? I think so. Yeah. Here, come on this side. So that it's like... All right, so this morning, first off, an incredible training by Patrice. What did you guys think? Wasn't that amazing? So good. I texted her and was like, can I share this in the roundtable, which is like 5-star and above coaches? Because I was like, everybody needs to hear this word. Like, it was just so incredible. So be sure to message her and thank her. I sent the photo in our message thread, so at some point this weekend. But Brian and I wanted to talk to you guys this morning about getting back to the basics and beyond the basics. This is a conversation we've been having a lot with our coaches and with each other. Just, you know, I was having a conversation earlier with Ashley actually, and just about how you never stop throwing spaghetti at the wall. You're constantly learning. And even though I've been in this business for 7 years now, I just like continue to learn, and things are continuing to evolve. Instagram continues to evolve. Facebook continues to evolve. Like, how we serve our people has to continue to evolve, because how we interact and do social media and all those things is continuing to evolve. So we have to as coaches as well. And so even for me, I'm constantly like learning from you guys. Like, there's been so many coaches over the past year or so that I've like learned so much from about running my groups and how I want to change things up, and even for myself, getting back to the basics. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that today. So yeah. Anything you want to say?
I was going to say, maybe we should like kind of rotate so they can see who's talking. So I was just going to say that, you know, you guys, whether you realize it or not, like, you're entrepreneurs by starting on this, you know, doing this business. And so you kind of have to start thinking like entrepreneurs, if you haven't already. But we'll kind of talk about the basic stuff that you know, kind of need to be doing as a coach. And then once you kind of gotten to a certain point in your business, you start thinking a little bit bigger of like, okay, this is a business. What are other businesses doing that I can be doing to kind of legitimize what I'm doing and help my efforts that I'm already doing? And that's just kind of that whole entrepreneurial mindset, is you always want to be evolving, like Caroline was saying, thinking about what can I do better, what can I add that isn't going to take away from what I'm doing, but just going to support it. And so that's kind of what we're going for. And so that's kind of where the title comes, is, you know, we're going back to basics to go beyond being basic.
And two, like, I think even just speaking to like what Patrice talked about earlier, right? Like boundaries and productivity, like we want, and I talk about this a lot, like holy hustle. Like, we want you guys to show up in your business and work, but like, if we want you to do the things that are going to get the maximum results, right? Like, we don't want you wasting time. And so for everybody that might look a little different, like, I love Instagram. Like, I'm like one of the few who's like, I love stories, and I love like putting filters on things, and I love like editing photos, like stuff like that is fun to me. But like for some coaches, that's extremely stressful. And so there's going to be different things that each of us brings to the table that we enjoy doing or don't enjoy doing. And I think like getting back to the basics of the things that we enjoy is so important, so that when we're showing up in our business, we actually can get maximum return on what we're putting in. So let's dive in. Whoop. All right, first step, have fun. This is so important, and I feel like God has just continued to remind me of this over the past year. I was at a place in my business where, like, I really, to be honest with you, I was having fun with my coaches. Like, I've been having so much fun with y'all, but I wasn't having fun with my challengers. Like, it kind of just felt like this thing I had to do because I'm a coach, to be honest with you. Like, I would tell anybody, like, my coaches are my favorite, and if I could just do the coaching side, that would be, like, amazing. But I was kind of this place where, like, I just didn't feel, I don't know, I didn't feel excited to show up for my challengers. When you've been doing it for 7 years, like, it starts to kind of get like, okay, like, so, and like I said, I'm so passionate about the business. I could talk about the business all day, every day. But and so I was kind of at this place where I was like, I kind of have to go back to the basics, and I have to figure out like, how do I make this fun for myself again? And so I started talking to new coaches. I started having, like, when we started implementing the Monday calls, that was amazing for me, for my personally sponsored coaches, because I could hear from my coaches, especially my new coaches, like, what are they doing, and allow their energy and their excitement to fuel me. So if you're an old coach and you're not surrounding yourself with new coaches, you need to be, because you're going to get in a place where you're feeling burnt out. And if you're only talking to other coaches who feel burnt out or not excited about the business, you're going to be unexcited about the business, because we are what we surround ourselves with. So if we're surrounding ourselves with negative energy, then like we're going to feel negative about what we're doing too. And so for me, getting on those Monday calls and just listening to what's working for new coaches has helped so much, because it's gotten me like re-excited about showing up for my challengers. So for me, I started doing the group me message like Ashton and Kenzie and a bunch of the girls were doing. And that has already been like a game changer in my business. Like my girls are messaging me, and I just started it like last month, but they're messaging me like, this community, like I love it. Like they're loving just being able to constantly talk to each other. We're still using bod groups to check in with our messages, but like I'm just kind of getting back to the basics. I'm taking the pressure off myself. I'm taking the pressure off of writing a devotional for every single day. I'm taking the pressure off of having a post for every single day. I literally post 3 times a week in there, and it's like it takes me 10 minutes to put together, and it feels amazing. And just to not have to like write all this content and be everything to everybody, and just to be fun. Like you can love Jesus and have fun. Like just FYI, you don't have to. Not everything has to be like super like faith heavy. Does that make sense? Like obviously we're pointing people back to the Lord, but you can still have fun in doing that. And so for me, just getting back to the basics of that and like making prizes and just having fun with it has allowed me to probably sound more excited on my Instagram stories and just be more excited about what I'm doing. And therefore, I'm attracting more people. Like last month, I had some of the highest Success Club numbers I've had since I did MBF Test Group. And I had high Success Club members that month because I was super pumped about the test group, and I was talking about it all the time because I love that program. And so, same thing, it plays into how we are perceived to others. Like if you're showing up on your stories and you're not super pumped about what God's doing and super pumped about your fitness journey and your groups, and you can't show stories of real people who are in your groups, then people are just going to be like, well, what does she even do? Is this even real? Does she even have groups? She never talks about her clients. Like she only talks about her coaches, you know? And the challenge groups are the bread and butter of our business. So at the end of the day, when all else fails, we have to be helping people, right? Like we have to. And I don't care if you're a 5-star diamond, a 10-star diamond, a emerald coach, that is the bread and butter. And the second you take your eyes off of that and helping people, then you're kind of in trouble, because how can I help you guys if I'm not even actually helping people, right? And so the first step is have fun with your coaches. Like if you're, for some of y'all, like coaching coaches might seem scary because it's new and you've never done it. Have fun with it. It's okay to be real. They know that you're a new coach. Like I told Patrice when she started, I was like, look, girl, like we're kind of in this together, because I was in a rebuilding phase when she came on, and literally she signed up and I had Emma on like a day later. And so for a few weeks, I was kind of not present with trying to help her get going. And so I was kind of like, I'm rebuilding, so we're just going to have to link arms and do this thing together. And so for a while, we were kind of like leading our team together. So it was like, hey, I'll do a training, you do a training. We just kind of did it that way. And we came up with a team name together. And so we were kind of like in it together. But like, that was okay. Like, you don't have to pretend. You don't have to fake it till you make it. You know what I'm saying? Like, be real with your coaches. Just be like, hey, I'm brand new. Clearly, you're my first coach. They're not expecting you to have it all together. That's what I'm here for. That's what your upline's here for. To be able to navigate that with you and walk with you through. Coaches. Okay. Sorry, that scared me. I tell my new coaches, I'm like, if you sign up a client or you sign up a coach and you want to hop on a getting started right call, like you want me to be on it with you and walk with you through that, like let's do it. Like don't feel like you have to take this stuff on yourself. Like that's what we're here for. And so if that's coaching, have fun with it. Find ways to make it fun. Because I do feel like when we're not having fun, we start to kind of lose the joy of why we showed up and started. So yeah.
I'll just add real quick to that. So I don't know how much of you guys know this, but I'm an insurance agent, and one of the things that like
which is not fun. Like exciting. Like I'm just saying, like insurance is kind of boring.
It's not sexy
for a lot of people. Let's be real.
But one of the things that I get graded on month to month is on specifically life insurance sales. So if anybody needs life insurance, just come see me after. But so the same thing happens though is we see all these other people across the company that are their life insurance numbers for the month, and you might see a new person come in and they're just like killing it. And you're just like, dang, you're kind of in a rut. And it's like, what are they doing? And so, Caroline's even encouraged me, like, why don't you take them out to lunch and just talk to them and just kind of, be open with them and say, like, what are you doing? Because you're killing it, obviously. And I think, for example, someone I've seen who's been crushing it really since they started is Kenzie Johnson. She's been Success Club 20, it seems like, ever since she, started. But I noticed, just because we're friends, in real life, we knew each other before this. On her Instagram, she does a good job of just making it look fun, and I think that's kind of one thing that has kind of brought this back into kind of our mindset is we just need to make this fun. What it should be in the first place, and so I think she's done a really good job of that. So maybe reach out to her or anybody that you see you feel is doing a good job, and you just kind of want to see what they're doing and maybe get some tips.
Yeah. I always say success leaves clues. So if there's people, especially this weekend, this is the perfect opportunity to be like, hey, can I pull you aside and just chat with you about what you're doing? And again, I will say this too. Don't feel like you have to fake it though, right? There's some people Kenzie is a 7 and everything has to be fun or she will not do it. I can't try to be like Kenzie because that's not my personality, whereas she can't try to be like me because if she was making to-do lists and all this stuff, she would be so stressed out. And so that's okay. So I'm not saying fake it and try to be happy and go lucky if that's not your personality. But I'm just saying that if you're having fun, it's going to come through in your stories and what you talk about. And so I always like to say that just because I don't want you guys trying to be something that you're not either, right?
Figure out what you enjoy.
Yeah, what makes it fun for you.
Yeah.
You can't do that. You have to click it.
Bum, bum, bum.
All right, so the second thing is, and obviously you guys are Emerald coaches and above, but again, I don't care if you're Diamond or Star Diamond or whatever, you should be doing these things. Committing to a program. I talk to so many coaches who don't print off the calendar. They don't hang it up. They don't take before photos with every single program. I think Erin was saying last night, she wishes that in the beginning, she would have taken before and after photos with every single program she did and saved it in a folder and said, MBF or 21 Day Fix or, save every single one. These are all part of your journey. But it's just so important that we're being a product of the product. And that doesn't even mean that you have to put it in a box, right? This month, I made a little calendar for myself because, again, I wanted to keep it fun. So I made a calendar, a March mashup, and I took some of my favorite programs and just made my own calendar, and I shared that with my challengers. But I'm still being a product of the product. I'm showing up, and I'm making it fun for me. And so be a product of the product. Follow the program. Commit to the nutrition. Your results will speak to yourself for itself. And just remember that you are always your best marketing tool. And so it's funny because I've been sharing a lot of your journey photos, right, on my Instagram stories or Instagram page lately. But no matter what, my journey photos always get about 20 times more likes and comments and engagement than when I share yours. And that's not to say that yours aren't amazing, but that just shows that people are connected to me, right? And that's the same thing with you. They don't know who Caroline Foster is. They don't know who Courtney is, whoever on your page. They know Ashley or they know Shay. And so when they see your journey photos, that's more impactful for them. They still need to see those others because it shows that you're helping other people get results. But you're your best marketing tool. And so how cool is that? To me, I'm the fact that taking care of my body and my health is my job and my best marketing tool is really stinking cool. And so take it seriously, constantly be evolving. We're always talking about how can we be better? It's a hobby for us at this point. We love it. It's so fun. And so sharing those with other people. And then also I think too, again, like I said, it doesn't have to fit in a box. I was telling Erin, she's talking about doing 75 hard. And I'm run a group for it. She already put together a calendar and I'm promote it. Don't just do it yourself, promote it. and invite people to join you. You may only have a few people, but those people might be super committed because it's so niche that like they're gonna love it. And so just don't feel like you have to put it in a box and it has to look like every other Beachbody coach. And then of course, like we always talk about, invite people to join you. I'm not going to super dive into that one because it kind of speaks for itself. But, reach out to people. Don't be afraid. Like, maybe they don't know what you're doing. Maybe they don't realize, like, what your group is. Just reaching out to people and inviting them, because that's what's really going to make the difference. So this is the emerald mindset we just talked about. And one of the things that we're going to start doing is when a coach is basically emerald, coaching to emerald, we're really going to focus on these things. So we're creating a new PowerPoint like onboarding that's just going to focus on this, and then we'll have another onboarding for once they hit emerald, because it really does have to start to evolve over time. It's very overwhelming for a brand new coach to come on board and think about all these other things. They don't need to think about like signing up coaches and all this stuff just yet. What they need to focus on is having fun, being a product of the product, inviting other people to join them, running a killer challenge group, and helping people get results. And then again, having fun and repeat, right? Like if you're not in a system of doing this, then the other things are just going to feel exhausting and draining, and they're going to burn you out. And like I said earlier, even for all of the older coaches, like you may be stuck. You might be saying, hey, why am I like kind of in this, what's the word I'm looking for? Rut, or like, I'm kind of stuck here and my business is not growing. You probably need to go back to the basics. Do you have this mindset? So maybe it's taking, I said it myself. I took a few months, I stepped back for a few months and said, okay, I need to start having fun again. I'm not having fun. How do I start to have fun again? I want to continue to be a product of the product. How do I continue to do that? How do I continue to invite others? Okay, I need to get back to the tracker. I need to be waking up every morning, having my time with the Lord, and then doing my invites, because that's what works for me. If I carry it over into the end of my day or nap time, I'm not going to do it. So how am I going to make sure that I'm sending invites, 50 invites every day? I want to run killer challenge groups where people are getting results to where I can share those results. If I have nothing to share, then I have nothing to show for my group and the fact that it works. And so again, just getting back into this, and that's going to start to move your business forward, finding that joy again in those things that are the bread and butter of your business. Okay, so let's talk about a diamond mindset. So this is really taking your business from just hobby to an actual business. And some of you guys might be here and you might be like, well, like I came here and I started this business because I really just want to help people. And that's okay. Like if your goal may not be to have a star diamond business, or your goal may not be financial whatever. Everybody's kind of going to be in a different place with this, but I think we all have the desire to help people, and those people go help people because we want to reach more people. And that's really what it's about, right? Like that's how I like to look at it, because for me, it's like I can only like help about 5 people a month, 5 to 10 new people. And then, but if those people, if 5 of those people are challengers and 5 of those people are coaches, then they can then go and help people, and all of a sudden the impact becomes greater. We saw that number last night, right? Like 1,500 people or whatever it was that we helped last year get started with a challenge pack. Me, myself, like maybe 50 of those, right? Like, or whatever, 60. But that's the impact of the trickle effect that starts to happen, is when that compound effect, right? Like what Patrice talked about earlier. So you really need to start to think like a business owner. Did you have anything to add?
Yeah, I was just going to say, it's kind of just like, basically this step is like almost legitimizing what you're doing. So even if it's not necessarily for like, you're trying to grow a business, you're still trying to show others that, hey, you can trust me. Like here's, we'll kind of talk about things that we're going to do, or that you can do for this, like have a website, or, have an email list, but just kind of helps you look like a little more professional, in the sense of like, I know what I'm doing, you can trust me, and here's some things that, just kind of make you look a little bit more legitimate.
Yeah. And for some people, like you may stay in that emerald mindset of like just getting that down for 4 months or 5 months or 6 months or a month, depending on what your background is. I think that's one thing we don't talk a lot about sometimes. Is like a lot of people think of, oh, well, she just signed up 3 months ago. Well, what people don't know about Ashley is that she, has a nutrition degree and she has a background in fitness, and she's been doing that for 4 years. So while she just signed up to be a coach, she had 4 years of preparing for this, to where she was building a community, she was building connections and all this stuff. Whereas I signed up like as a challenger and coach at the same time. So for me, it was day one. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't a group fitness instructor before. I didn't have this, like Patrice, she was a personal trainer for years. So she had all these people she could talk to. So you have to remember that, because a lot of people forget that. Is that their day one was maybe 4 years ago, really. And so you may be in a cycle of starting this in month 1, or you might be in a cycle of starting this in 6 months. Get in a place where you're consistently hitting Success Club, and then you kind of move into the Simon mindset. So again, like Brian said, having that entrepreneur mindset with it. Sorry, somebody's unmuted. Okay. Somebody. Okay. Okay, so and starting to think like a business owner, how can I grow my business? Starting to really look at this as a business. How can I make this professional? What do businesses do that I'm not doing? Start to look at other people. Again, not comparing, but learning from people. What do coaches farther along than me do that I'm not doing? What are some things that I can start to kind of trickle in? Again, this is when you're in a place of consistently hitting Success Club, consistently having fun, consistently helping people. So some things that really are going to help you establish credibility. Obviously, your Instagram. Don't put pressure on yourself to have this perfectly aesthetic feed from day one. A lot of people try to do that, or they overwhelm themselves, or they're like, okay, I have to learn the Instagram algorithm today. I am 7 years into this business, and I still don't understand that stupid thing. It changes all the time, constantly. So don't waste your time. I mean, you can learn about Instagram, you can learn strategies, but those things will come. You've got to get to a place where you're doing the bread and butter, and then add in those things.
And I think with Instagram too, it's when I was thinking about this, more or less too, just your profile bio stuff, just make sure that's filled out, have a link tree or something, maybe just some things that can make it easier when people do discover you. It's very clear about what you do and how they can learn more info. Just kind of basic stuff like that. Like you said, you don't have to have the most aesthetically perfect Instagram by any means, but just think along those lines. Because again, all this whole diamond mindset is just maximizing what you're already doing, as in the emerald mindset.
Yeah, so. Exactly. A website. I hear so many coaches say oh, I need a website. You don't need a website. I have a website, and I don't even actually know that it really does anything for me. But blog posts, link tree, all of these things, these are things that they're shiny stuff that you don't really need to focus on until you're at a place where you're okay, I'm doing all these things now, I just kind of want to maximize them a little bit more. Lead generation, email list, giveaways, freemiums. Again, these things are great. They're more of, hey, I want to start establishing credibility. But as a new coach, you don't necessarily need those things. So I think this is important too for you guys as your leaders in the business, and you've got coaches underneath of you. Try to not let them think about those things until they're farther along in the business and they're really pushing maybe their diamond or pushing towards diamond. They just really don't need these things. And I think that if they're focusing on all these things and trying to create all these things, it's going to get really overwhelming for them. And again, they're going to take their eyes off of what they started, which was here to help people, here to serve people, here to have fun, here to help people get results.
Real quick, I was going to add to that. So I know we've had a website for a while. We did Weebly starting out, which is a really easy one if you wanted to start a website to kind of learn from. I know Anna Bay actually used Milkshake, is that what it's called? Which that was really cool.
Really good.
And I don't know how easy that was for you to set up, but it's kind of just perfect awesome. For going from an Instagram to a website. Really easy and looks really good. So that y'all check out hers as a good example. But all these things are just ways to kind of add to what you're doing. Social proof. I don't know if y'all have ever heard of that term. It's kind of like this marketing term, but basically that's just showing people through social media and real people kind of their feedback. So like success stories and testimonials, that's considered social proof because it's showing other people that what you're doing is legitimate. So having those is really important. So always, try to get before and afters, try to get, people's feedback, and, make sure people can see that because that goes a long way.
Yeah,
so,
totally. Anything else to add to any of those?
I think so. Anybody have any questions just on any of that right there? What those are or anything?
Anything? Okay.
Oh, and real quick too, email list is big. Like, I know with if you don't have an email list, like definitely start that. It doesn't have to be anything special. Just start a spreadsheet and start tracking people.
Or MailChimp is free up to like 2,000 people.
Yeah, I mean you can use MailChimp, but just start collecting those emails because those emails can come in handy, especially as your business grows, as that email list grows. When you have new programs that come out, I mean that's people who are going to be the first people that you can send stuff out to, and they might be repeat customers. Or just come back around and who knows, be coaches. But I mean, that's like businesses thrive off having a big email list. Like they'll pay you money to, if you're selling your business for how big your email list is because it's so valuable.
Yeah.
So definitely, definitely try to.
Well, and it's kind of like Michelle said on her training, like Instagram is the icing on the cake. It's not the cake. And these are things that you could be doing that are other avenues. I mean, we've all seen even in the past year, Instagram has just the interaction on Instagram has started to go down. And I think everybody is just less and less on social media. So other ways that you can connect with people. The one thing I didn't put on here is text messaging too. So I use Project Broadcast. It's kind of hard to navigate at first because it's not the prettiest aesthetic setup. But if you watch lots of YouTube videos on it, you'll learn it. I think that kind of brings me to I'm going to figure it out mindset. This has to be your mindset in the business. I'm a scrappy person. I don't like to spend money on stuff. I hate spending money on stuff. So from day one, I've always been I'm just kind of scrappy. I just figure it out. If I want to figure something out, I'm I started getting text messages one day from this girl I bought oils from. And I'm like, how's she sending text messages? So I texted her and I was like, hey, what are you using? She's like, Project Broadcast. I'm like, what is that? So I get on the website. I'm like, what in the world is this? It's the weirdest website. So I just watched 10 videos on YouTube on how to do it and paused it and tried it and paused it and tried it until I figured it out. And everything, oh, Lordy. Hang on. But everything is figure outable, right? Yeah, I thought there was a way to, but I don't know who's unmuted. Okay. But everything is figure outable. And so it just be a scrappy person, figure it out. Go to other people's accounts. When me and Brian were talking about websites, we went and looked at a bunch of our girl on our team's accounts and we're like, okay, a milkshake and, Weebly, and we're just pulling things you can learn from each other. Again, reach out to him and be like, hey, how'd you do that? Or again, go to YouTube. YouTube has everything. That's literally how I figure out everything. So always be learning, growing, analyzing, and developing. You have to be. I always say throw spaghetti at the wall, and you have to constantly be doing that to see what's going to stick for you and your people. Some of you love Facebook for challenge groups. Some of you love VOD groups. Some of you love GroupMe. Some of you love Voxer. Everybody kind of has their own thing that they do. And again, I think that goes back to it has to be fun for you, and you have to enjoy what you're doing. But the chances are, if you're attracting certain people, they're probably going to enjoy the things that you enjoy because you attracted them. And so, but just kind of having that mindset.
And then I just put up there, you might add another book, Caroline, but The Compound Effect, if you guys are interested in a book to kind of read and take away from this retreat that's kind of more business minded, but not just technically about business. It really just talks about anything. But The Compound Effect is a really good book. I know Patrice kind of talked about it last presentation, but to me, that's a great illustration of what this business looks like. With the compound effect, you're going to see very small, or what even feels like small, changes in your business throughout the months and the years. But when I tell people, especially when you're looking at your financials, I know for us, it was every year it's been about 50 to 100% growth in your business. But when you're starting out at zero, that feels small. But over time, that same percentage growth ends up being big. So you just kind of have to have a long-term mindset with this business and with anything you do, even with your health and fitness. I mean, it takes what, like 3,600 negative calories to lose a pound. So that's a lot. Sounds like a lot, and it's a slow process, but over a month, 2 months, a year, that adds up a lot. Just kind of that's a good book that we read from probably the beginning when we first started, and that's kind of helped us have like a long-term vision to just keep the pace.
Another really good book is the 10X Rule. I think that book is amazing. And then also 9-Week Year is a really good one. I'm in the middle of reading it again right now. And then I talked about earlier, War on the Mind. Those are kind of like my top books. But Compound Effect is definitely a book that when you're signing up new coaches, I would say that's the first book they need to read, because like Brian said, like understanding the compounding of this business. I always tell people in the beginning, you're making 10 cents an hour, if that, 5 cents an hour. But in a few years, that could be $200 an hour, $300 an hour, like how much time you're putting in. Because in the beginning, you're putting in a lot of time for a little, and then as your business grows, you put in less time for more. And that's just kind of the compounding of your business and how it works. And even I'm sure coaches who they're entering year 2 of their business, I mean, it's awesome because you have all your people from last year and their Beachbody On Demand renewing, and you can reach out to them and upgrade them to a challenge pack. Or even if you don't, it's still volume, it's still commission again. And so that's the beauty of Beachbody On Demand subscription, is that every year it grows because you're just compounding on top of each other. So warning here, don't spend too much time on the shiny. Keep the main thing the main thing. Like we talked about earlier, you have to have the emerald mindset a majority of the time. One thing that's really easy to do as your team starts to grow is to spend a lot of time on your team and a little time on your own business. And because you love pouring into your team, you love mentoring them, you love helping them. But again, if you're not spending that first time, if the main thing isn't the main thing of your business and the bread and butter of your business, recruiting coaches, signing up clients for your community, that kind of thing, then you're going to look down and you're going to have a bunch of coaches, but you're not going to have anything that you can share with them because you're not learning and growing. And again, the business changes every single month in a way. So if you're not doing the actions, then you're not going to have anything to teach them. And secondly, you're not going to have fresh new blood coming into your business. Again, that's why I say to the old coaches, you should be surrounding yourself with new coaches. If you're not, I promise you your business won't last. You're going to be burnt out, you're going to be quitting, or you're going to get in a place where you're not going to be growing and you're just going to be stuck. Because fresh new blood spurs us on. And having new girls in your groups is good for your old girls, whether it's coaching or challengers. I have so many challengers who've been with me for years, and when new girls come in, it's like this fresh wave of like, oh, they're getting up, they're doing their workout, I'm going to do it, And the same thing goes for here. I mean, I'm sure every single one of the girls who's been here for a while could say, man, like, so-and-so is hitting Success Club every month. I got to hit Success Club because they're hitting Success Club. Or, it spurs us on to be better. And that's the beauty of it, right? And so make sure that you keep the main thing, because otherwise your business will start to die if you're so focused on dragging people who aren't doing anything. And I'm not here to drag anybody. I'm here to pull the things out of you that are already in you. But if you're not going to do what I tell you to do, then I'm honestly not going to waste my time. Because I have other coaches who want to do things and who are excited. And so be smart about where you're spending your time. Like Patrice said earlier, we all have limited time. My family is my first priority. And so if I only got 2 hours of the day to pour into my business, or 3, if it's a good day, then, it can't go to people that don't do any of the things that I've told them to do, right? Like it has to go to the people who are hungry, who want my attention, who are thankful for it, who that's just kind of how it is. And so be that way, be protective of your time. Like that's why I said I like to get up in the morning and do my tracker first, because I know that I'm not going to be distracted with other things and people to be pouring into, and I love doing those things, but that's why I try to keep those for nap time so that my business is done, my bread and butter is done, and then I can go pour into other people. And that's what you've got to do. If you're not pouring into yourself, you're not going to have anything to flow into other people. And so just make sure that you guys keep the main thing the main thing. And And then diamond mindset, maximize what you're already doing. This should not be a stressful thing. And by the way, that list of things doesn't mean you need to go do all of them. It's picking a few and just doing those over the next year, right? Like, it's just maximizing what you're already doing. You're already creating resources for your challengers. How can you take those and share them with other people from time to time? You've already created all these devotionals. Hire Abby to create an ebook for you and make it into a freemium and say, hey, here's the devotionals in black and white. You know, she's going to do that for Ashley. Ashley has like a macro guide she's put together that's amazing that she did in a diet vet. And she's going to pay Abby to help her make it beautiful, and she's going to turn it into something that she adds on for her challengers. Like, it's not recreating the wheel. It's taking things that you're already doing and just being smart about how you do it. Every single week, Abby will tell you. So I try to write blog posts on Fridays because I've started trying to write more. I just feel like God told me to. And so I've been trying to write a blog post every Friday for the next Friday. And I don't always do it. Abby will tell you I don't always get it done on that day. But she takes it and she turns it into a Pinterest post. She turns it into an Instagram story for me, a slide up. She turns it into like an email for my clients. So they get the blog post on Thursday, and then everyone else gets it on Friday. So they kind of feel special with the menu and all that stuff. Like, I've hired her to help me do all that. And so it's not, again, it's just taking one little thing that I did and turning it into 5 other things. It's just maximizing your time and what you're doing. All of you guys have so much amazing content that you're putting out there on Instagram, whether it's an Instagram story or an Instagram post. You can take that Instagram story, watch it, type it up when you get back home, and that's your Instagram post for 2 weeks later. Like, I think we put a lot of pressure on ourselves to constantly be creating new content or thinking we can't share something that's 2 weeks old. God's word is never void. So even if you share it 3 weeks later, like, it's still impactful. God's still going to use it. And, you know, even your tips and the tricks and the things that you're sharing with people, I reuse content all the time. Like, if I'm in a rut, I'm like, all right, 2 years ago, what did I share? I go back to my Instagram, copy, take another photo, paste, cool. And nobody knows. People love it. Like, I get new comments and new people who weren't following me then that now they're like, wow, that was really good. So again, take the pressure off yourself. You need to keep the main thing. Your Instagram, all that is icing on the cake. And so I'm constantly too sharing things that I already shared with my challengers. Like, oh, I shared this with them. They loved it. So let me share this with other people. And then they can kind of see, oh, she shares these things with her clients. It's, again, just breadcrumbing. All right, we're going to jump into the preferred customer program and talk a little bit about that. Are there any questions on Emerald mindset, Diamond mindset? Anything? Okay. Do you want to kick this off?
Sure.
Okay. Brian's our preferred customer expert.
So we kind of just thought, we knew we wanted to talk about this, whether it was like on a team call, but I really wanted to talk about it here. We want to do it as soon as possible because that'll give you guys time to prepare because the launch is in May. So it might not necessarily tie in exactly to the PowerPoint that we just did, but it will help you get to Emerald or get to Diamond, hopefully a little bit quicker than in the past, because the way Beachbody set it up, I feel like it's pretty coach friendly and good for your business.
And we've already had, in the roundtable, we've had several trainings on preferred customers. So Brian went through them one night and stayed up really late and watched them all and took notes on them all. So what we're presenting to y'all today is like things that we know as of right now. Obviously things can evolve and change, but this is just like, as of today, what we know about the preferred customer. And I do think this is going to be a game changer. So I would definitely take lots of notes.
And I think actually it was posted in the Beachbody Champions page on Facebook. So if you're not already part of that, definitely join it because anybody can join it, and it's got a lot of good information. You can go back and look at the videos that what is the guy's name is who did it?
Craig?
No.
Oh.
Short name. Kaz or Kim.
Oh yeah, Kim Carver.
Not think of it. Kim did the trainings on it. All right. So how many of you guys have heard of this?
Does everybody know about preferred customer? It's okay if you
don't. A little bit.
A little bit? Okay.
Because they didn't put out a whole lot of information when they announced it. So
can we move this so that way they can see?
Yeah. Kind of took some time to
Oh, there we go.
That works. So this is like directly off of the preferred customer FAQ, but it says the preferred customer club is a membership that allows customers to receive exclusive benefits, including product discounts and access to exclusive early access buying windows. Preferred customers will be positioned within the Team Beachbody coach genealogy in the event they choose to become a coach in the future. However, preferred customers will not have the ability to sell products, recruit coaches, or participate in the coach compensation plan. So to translate what that's saying is basically they're going to look just like a coach. They just can't sell the products or make money. They can sign up and they'll be placed on your downline. And they actually, and we'll talk about it a little bit in other slides, but they'll get a spot in your coaching genealogy, and they'll count as an active coach, which they're calling active preferred customers. So it'll help you with your rankings because they'll be treated just like an active coach, and you still will be able to kind of make commission off of bod subscriptions and challenge packs, and then even a bonus, you'll actually get team volume off of any of their orders. So you don't get the like Shakeology subscription if they get on that, but it'll generate team volume for you and allow you to kind of hopefully advance and rank, whereas prior you might not have been able to.
Can I say something real quick? The reason that preferred customers coming out and why it's so important is that we have to continue to protect the network. We all know that network marketing companies are under fire. We've seen companies get shut down because they have more coaches than they do clients. And so we want to make sure Beachbody is basically saying we just don't want to have a bunch of people that are coded as a coach when they're actually not a coach. They're a discount coach. And so we're trying to put them in a classification of being a preferred customer. They're just getting the discount. So that is really why it's coming out, is to protect the network, protect coaching. We just, if the FTC came to us and was like, hey, why do you have so many coaches and not a lot of customers? Like, that's just not a good look. And so that's kind of why this is happening.
And Beachbody is very proactive when it comes to protecting the company and the network. So I think this is a really good sign that they're doing everything they can to make sure that this business will be here for a long time and it's not going to have any compliance issues with the FTC. So this is kind of their response to it.
Click that.
What do you click?
You have to only click like this.
Okay. All right. So just kind of going over key benefits for the customer and the coach, which we'll talk about next. But as a customer, so this is things that you can talk to someone about when your challenger approaches you and says they're interested. These are things you want to talk to them and see if they want to make the decision to sign up as a preferred customer. But they get 25% off all products with a $15.95 monthly membership. This doesn't apply to military, people, spouses. They don't get a military discount like you would as a coach for signing up as a coach. So that's a little different. But you do, like I said, you get to lock in a spot on your downline in case they do want to become a coach later on, which is huge because that way they don't have kind of the risk of, if I sign up and then I decide not to because I want to switch to someone else's team, I don't have to wait 6 months now. So they can become a coach on your team, and a preferred customer on your team, and if for some reason they make a connection with somebody else, you're not penalizing them for signing up for the discount. But the best thing about it for you is that they've got that spot locked in. They're going to become an active coach, customer on your team. And if they decide to become a coach later on, like they've got a great, spot on your team, and it's just kind of an advantage for them.
And I think that this is going to help us as coaches, like make sure we're serving the right people and we're helping people with the right things. Like I have had people sign up as a discount coach, but they haven't been very clear about like if they want to be doing it for the discount or if they actually want to work. So it's like, this is going to help us clearly define like, okay, so you're a preferred customer. The other thing too is like, I know we all have conversations with people all the time who are like, oh, I signed up and the person I signed up with put me as a discount coach, but I didn't really want to coach. And now I'm stuck with this person unless I cancel. So in May, every single person is going to get an email, and it's going to say, do you want to be a preferred customer instead of a coach? And they can switch to preferred customer in May. So I've actually recently had conversations with girls who wanted to switch for whatever reason, and they want to actively coach now, but they had signed up as a discount coach before. So I've told them, like, wait till May, you can switch to preferred customer, switch over to me, and then sign up as a coach. So then they don't have to wait 6 months. So that's just something to kind of keep in mind. And I think that's going to be really good because it's just not fair. There's coaches out there that sign every single client up as a coach, and then they're stuck with them, and they don't even realize that they signed up as a coach. And so this is going to be good for them because they can switch.
I have a question. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's say someone's a coach on another person's team right now, and when they get that email, they switch to preferred customer. Do they not still have to wait 6 months from the last time they were a coach?
No, I mean, not as of what we know right now.
Like would they let them just like as soon as they are preferred customer switch over the next month?
I don't know. There might eventually be stipulations on that, but I think when it rolls out.
I've got a girl who like was a coach, can't just cancel her coach account and doing another MLM, but she wants to sign up under me just to get a discount.
So she can sign up as a preferred customer.
Yeah.
Yes.
They just can't coach for that 6 month window, but they can still lock in that spot.
They can't just switch and then re-sign up.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Now, I think that, like, when they first roll it out, there might be a little window where they can switch to preferred customer and then they could sign up as a coach. But I'm not 100% sure about that.
But yeah, that's a good thing.
I don't know. They didn't make it very clear, but I know that long term they won't be able to. I just know that in May they're going to email everyone. So it just depends on if they have stipulations there or not. Because eventually you won't be able to do that because there wouldn't even be possible. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But yeah, like you're saying though, they can sign up as a preferred customer, and that way they lock their spot in on your genealogy. So they don't feel like man, I'm just having to wait 6 months like some people have had to, and could have been.
And the reason that, if anybody doesn't know, the reason you have to wait 6 months is because they just don't want people jumping from coach to coach. Like, oh, jumped in, got all Caroline's trainings and how she does things. Now I'm gonna go sign up with Ashley Volstad, whatever. So that way, it's like there's just some protection of people and their resources. So that's why that exists.
So are people who are preferred customers right now, essentially like discount coaches, should we tell them to switch?
Yeah, they're gonna have to switch. There's from here on out, and he may be talking about this, but once this rolls out, if you're a coach, there'll be stipulations requirements that you have to meet every quarter, or you'll be switched over to a preferred customer.
Well, they'll ask you, they'll send you the email.
Yeah, like if you're not doing certain things, and Brian will get into that. Do you have that on here?
Kind of.
Then they'll basically make you switch. Again, it's to protect the network. They just want to make sure we're not signing up people, because even with the military discount, the whole point of the military discount was that they're trying to give people opportunity to work this business. And so there's a lot of people. Yeah. So that is going to kind of stink if there's people who aren't working the business, but they got it for the military discount. But I do know a lot of those people are inactive. So does it really affect us? I think they're just trying to clean out all the inactive people who are really not doing, like, they're getting the military discount, so it's not costing them anything, so they don't feel like they're losing, but they're inactive. Does that make sense?
I have one more question.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say someone's in a discount coach just to have the discount. They haven't been working it, so they've already missed that window of like getting success starters or anything like that. So they switch over to preferred customer for a little while, which I think this is going to be really good for that. So
yes,
people, they won't miss that window. But let's say, and I'm not saying it has to work like this at the moment, but I'm just thinking ahead. Okay, they switch over, and then 3 months goes by, and they're like, oh dang, I really do want to coach. Would that? I wonder if that would restart. If it's under the same person.
So.
Or they would have to wait again. I know that's really hypothetical. I'm sorry. I'm like,
yeah.
my mind is going on.
My first instinct would be they'd probably have to wait again.
Yeah.
And then I thought you were going to ask this too, but when they become a coach again, even if let's say they wait 6 months, they become a coach again.
Well, that restarts it.
Yeah, they can restart and get success starters still. So it's like they're brand new.
But yeah, I doubt it. I feel like they'll probably. No, it's good.
I think once you go from coach to preferred customer, you're gonna have to wait 6 months no matter what. Yeah.
Yeah, because I guess people otherwise would be just doing that all the time. Like, it'd be a roundabout way. I don't know what's going to happen in May though, like, because they're going to make everyone go preferred customers. So if you do decide to coach, I don't know. That might look a little different, but then I think after that it will be.
Yeah.
I just don't know what the May rollout's going to look like.
Yeah. So last thing, special access treatment from you. This is kind of all up to you how you want to do this. This can take many forms. So you can kind of think about, how you would want to treat these preferred customers. Cause I mean, they're kind of be obviously your preferred customer. You want to treat them a little bit, with a little more special treatment, I guess, or even access than maybe your typical challenger. Because they're going to be, helping you in your ranking and all this stuff. So some ideas we had is, you could have a special kind of page for them where you do a little bit more than you would do maybe for a normal customer. You can send them special stuff, each month, just like a little treat or something, maybe a little $5 Starbucks gift card or anything. I don't know, whatever you want it to look like. And one thing that I think we'll talk about later is kind of maybe making them available in your team page to where maybe they see a little bit of behind the scenes of what you're doing. And maybe invite them to it. Don't just put them in there, but just kind of say, hey, I know you're your preferred customer. You have access to being a coach if you want it. I can put you in this team page just to be a fly on the wall, and that might give them kind of the idea of like, oh, this is what it looks like to be a coach, and then they might decide I want to upgrade just because of the fun they see your coach is having.
Like this could be a great chance. I know in the past we wanted to do the preferred customer cards, and we talked about that a ton, and we never actually did it because it's hard to keep up with people. But like if you can pull a report of your preferred customers in the back office, you could keep up with that so much easier. So you could make those little preferred customer cards, and like maybe when someone signs up as a preferred customer, you send them a little welcome packet that's a little more special, and it's got that card in there. And then it's a little bit easier way of keeping up, like, okay, once they hit the 3, like you guys know, like punch cards. I don't know, like you go to certain places and you get 3 punches and then you get a headband. You could do something like that for your preferred customers, like 3 months on Shakeology and then they get something special. So there's a lot of things that you could do just to kind of make it cool. Or maybe like if you only have a bod group, maybe you have a text thread with just your preferred customers where they can check in or they can ask questions. They feel like they have social access to you, or a special email that just goes to them. Just things that you can do to make their experience a little more up-leveled. And then maybe too, when you're presenting, if someone's interested in signing up to be a part of your team, or your community, you could say, hey, okay, awesome, I have a preferred placement, this is what this looks like, and then I have a challenge pack for just, a regular like client. It kind of gives them 2 different experiences to choose from. And you may even pull back a little bit on some of the things you've been doing in your community in order to give you more time to serve your preferred customers a little bit more. Like not saying like completely, but like you might decide to not do a text thread or something that you've been doing with your regular clients to kind of make sure they're getting special care.
Kind of incentivize them to be a preferred
that
customer.
Makes them want to do that because they want more access to you, So
I'm sure like when you send in emails now, it's like coach tab and customers tab. I'm sure they'll have a coach tab for their customers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It'll be easy to look and see like, okay, they're getting Shakeology every month, performance line. And then you can check in with them easier too. Like, hey, I saw you delayed your Shakeology this month. Like, is everything going okay? Can I help you? I think it'll be easier organization wise, because I know for me, it's just so hard to keep up with so many client or customers. But it'll be easier if there's a tab where I can easily pull them. Yeah.
Going back, sorry, my mom's here. So the email that's going to go out, do you know, like, is it just going to coaches where it's like, okay, here's your option, or are they sending it to everybody? Like, will it give customers opportunity to swap over?
I'm actually not sure if it's everybody or if it's just going to be.
That's what I figured. I was probably the coaches that don't have any customers.
Yeah. I think they're looking for those specific coaches that aren't really doing anything, and they're trying to go ahead and convert all those over or cancel, I guess, their account. I don't know.
Just off the bat, I hope you don't mind me. Does anybody have any ideas if they've thought about this at all? Anything that they've thought, that would be cool to do for my preferred customers as opposed to my
former clients? A touch card type of thing would be really, really good, and only offering that to preferred customers.
Yes.
That alone would have some incentive to like keep up with it. And
yeah.
I'm just thankful that they're doing this because it's easier to keep up with like my coaches. I just can't expect them to like be active every month because they're coaching. But all those people who are discount coaches to be able to just go in and filter those out and be able to check in with them separately. Because I mean, I'm not going to check in with my coaches and then
Totally.
So I think that's going to be really helpful to build this out.
I think it'll just help
Okay.
us more clearly define how to serve our people.
So 2 things I want to say that you kind of mentioned. One, for a preferred customer, there was nothing really clear about, if they have to order so many products, I guess within a 5-week period, kind of like you have to do. I think as a coach, you have to have 50 PV, right, to stay active. So I'm thinking the way they're setting it up is as long as they're paying their $15.95 a month membership and that they're active as a preferred customer. I'm not 100% sure. There's nothing out there that I could find about that, but that's just the idea that I'm getting from kind of how they're rolling it out.
They haven't said, like, they haven't given a bullet point that said anything about.
Like what's considered an
And
active.
I feel like that would be in there if that was what that was going to be.
Would they not be able to do that from like a business standpoint? Because
Yeah.
if you're requiring them to buy so much, isn't that
That's more like
that's going to get
a
tested
coach.
with
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
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 So I think that's the thing. So that's kind of a
So
benefit there.
It would be more like a Sam's membership. Where
Yeah.
You don't
Yes.
you don't need to go there, but you're paying
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
That's why it's
So that's
going to
a
help people
game
get to
changer
Diamond.
possibly.
Like, this is
Yeah.
going to help so many more people get to Diamond. I mean, obviously,
emerald.
you're still going to have your 2 emeralds, but it's also going to help you get more emeralds. If you can say, hey, I just need 2 preferred customers under this person, like, just find 2 friends. Again, going back to the emerald mindset of keeping it fun, inviting people.
This is also going to be something to ask for their social because they're not getting the
Yeah.
such a roadblock when you send it as a discount question. They're like, why are
I'm putting my social.
and then it's like,
Yeah.
like you're hiding something. So
Yeah.
that's going to hold my time.
I agree.
And then with the punch card idea, I think the thing to think about too is you might think like, well, if I'm not getting commission when they do like a Shakeology subscription, then why would I send them an incentive to continue to buy it? But you got to remember, you're getting team volume from that, and that will generate $14 to $18 depending on your rank over time. So you are getting you're still kind of getting paid obviously from their orders. So that's why it's good to have those punch cards.
And if you have compensation plan questions this weekend, this is your person. He knows so much. So come sit down with him.
For a customer, would you also, with a regular customer, you get success club points every 6 months if they reorder the challenge pack. I wonder if that would be the same, or order with a completion pack or whatever. I wonder if this is a preferred customer.
I don't know.
I mean, that doesn't really matter that much.
Yeah.
But I'm just
Yeah, that'd be.
I know you definitely the subscription commission when they renew their bod subscription.
I might be
And
able to
then
look
they
in
do
the
a challenge
comments
pack.
of where people ask questions and see if that question's in there.
Completion pack, that'd be a good question too. If they do a completion pack, do you get commission?
Yeah.
So another things they kind of haven't fully addressed.
Do you get commission if it's the retry subscription or
If it's a bod subscription that renews, you get
still get it with the preferred
yeah,
customer?
you get
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Just
So-
not like monthly Shakeology.
Moving into the next slide.
Because basically you're giving away your 25% because they're getting a discount on that. But
So yeah, still get full commissions on challenge packs and bod subscriptions. So these are benefits for the sponsoring coach. Yeah, I would think so.
I would think so too.
Each preferred customer counts towards rank as an active coach or coach/personal PC. We're just if they're active, they're either one of the two, basically. Generates team volume under you, so it's all the things we've continued to already kind of talk about. So I'm just going to move on past that. All right, now new ways to advance in rank. We've kind of hit on this, but this really opens up a lot, I guess, easier way to potentially advance in rank. So now if you're an emerald, or to get to emerald, all you need is one coach or preferred customer on each leg. So that's, we should be getting emeralds hopefully pretty quickly with your new coaches when they're, if we can have a really solid, I think especially if we can have a really solid way to incentivize people to sign up as a preferred customer to hit emerald. And then diamond, same thing. All you really need is 2 coaches on each leg, and then you can get 3
the rest of them could be preferred customers.
in your diamond. So that's amazing. So we think that this is really going to be big for helping people get to diamond quickly, because that should be kind of the goal really is get to emerald. But, if you can continue to do that emerald mindset, you're going to be diamond pretty quick.
And honestly, I think this is going to help all of us kind of get back to the basics, like what we kicked off with earlier, because instead of being like, oh, now I have to think about being a coach to all these coaches, you really just have to take care of your clients in your community and hopefully upgrade them to being a preferred customer. And you're still doing the bread and, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're still doing the bread and butter, and those emeralds will come from them doing the same thing. So I feel like it's kind of going to help everybody get back to the basics of serving people in health and fitness, and not feeling like, I mean, obviously you still do have to help your coaches, but you get my point. More focus on that.
I know. All right, so some launch ideas. Again, we kind of touched on these a little bit, but these are just ideas. You don't have to follow this or anything. But first thing is try to upsell current customers or discount coaches to being a preferred customer. Because again, we know discount coaches, they can go inactive. So that's not really helping you. So, I think what you could do is email, go to your email list, or if you don't have an email list, you can go into your customer, the back office, and pull all your customers' info and email the ones that left their email address. But go ahead and just kind of explain the program and tell them the incentives, and maybe that'll help you generate some interest. Second one is create a preferred customer group. So again, this is kind of up to you, but what does that look like for you? What incentives can you have? Do you need to make a separate page for preferred customers that you do stuff with, or do you want to ask them if they want to be a part of your team page? I think if you want to put them part as your team page, you need to ask them especially first. You can tell them about the preferred customer group, and they can go on there and do that. But just with the team page, just like I said, tell them, hey, you can be a fly on the wall if you're kind of just ask them if they might be interested, to see what that looks like. And then I think when they see how much fun you guys have and all the stuff you do, if they're remotely interested, they're probably going to end up wanting to be a coach. And you can tell them the difference too. Like, the only difference in you and this coach is that they're able to sell the products and, make some compensation from it. So I think it might kind of get them to kind of go over that ledge, I guess, a little bit. But then the big thing is promote it to all new customers that you get. As you're launching it, obviously put it out on your Instagram and your challenge groups. Just kind of come up with a way to do that to every person you talk to that's interested in joining a group. Something too, just to look at, I kind of didn't put this on here, but if you guys know that you can go to, I think it's Monitor My Business on the back office. You can go Monitor My Business and go to subscription orders. And so there, if you haven't been to that page, it shows you everybody that's on a subscription. You'll click customers, the customers tab, and you can see who's currently subscribed to Shakeology, especially, and who's on BOD subscription. But Shakeology is the first one I look at because really you want to see who's been on a subscription the most. So you just filter. There's columns. One says cycle. You'll click that, and you want it to kind of sort from high to low. So high meaning this person's been on whatever subscription it is the longest. It shows you what subscriptions they're on. There's columns for different ones for like BOD and Shakeology, but filter by that column, high to low. And like, for instance, Caroline had somebody that's been on Shakeology for 26 consecutive months or cycles. So right there, it's like, that would really benefit that person instead of paying $140 something a month to pay $109 a month and just pay $15 commission. So that's a perfect example of a lead. So just do that. I think that'll be people you can kind of, high targets you can go ahead and reach out to. And just obviously it's like a no-brainer, should be. Yeah. So just a lot of people you can reach out to on day one. And you might even do that in April before it launches, just kind of, to start building that list up.
I'm not.
I think it's May 5th. For some reason, that's in my head.
Something. Yeah, it might. Yeah, that might be Monday.
Well, it might be on a Thursday when the week starts for Beachbody. Yeah.
One random thing I just thought about too is like I don't know. This is just dreaming big, but like with preferred customer, like you might even be able to host like a little retreat just for your preferred customers, like just a workout and faith and fitness retreat or something, and just keep it small, but it could be really cool.
The modifier cat was talking on, she's talking on the National Rugby Call class. She does Sunday call. So this might be something you can do with your customers, like a monthly call or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. I just think the sky's the limit with it, you know, the things you could do.
All right, so again, just kind of preferred customers make great candidates for coaches. So like I already said, they've shown they're big fans of the products because they're on subscriptions. You want to, like I said, ask them to be a part of your team coaching page. This is all stuff I've already mentioned, but just tell them that they can't participate in the compensation plan, so they can't sell or earn commission on products unless they're a coach. But they don't have to pay anymore in order to do that. They just have to transition from customer to coach. So that's just some questions you can answer for them, or things you can let people know. And
I'm checking to see what the question. What did
Good
she
question.
say? What did she say?
I think the FAQ on that is 7037. You might check that out. I don't know. I didn't see that listed.
I'm looking to see y'all's questions real quick in the roundtable to see if they've been answered, because sometimes they answer questions there they don't answer.
That's the thing. That FAQ, I really think it is like 7037. They're probably going to be updating that pretty regularly.
Okay, yeah. I'm like sitting y'all. He literally knows so much. It's crazy. I'm like,
Someone
wait,
fact
what?
check me.
Someone needs to be a numbers person.
All right, I think that's it, Caroline.
Okay, so here's the dates for anybody you want to know. Okay, just kidding. Never mind, it's not on there. I thought it was on there. Network.
I think that's all we've got. So if you guys have any questions, I'm going to check the chat, but feel free to put your questions in the chat. It'll be at 1 p.m. Central Time. No. Well, like when you get to like Star Diamond and stuff, maybe. I don't think so. Yeah, I mean, as long, but I think you gotta have 2 enrolls for Diamond. Yeah. So no, I think as long as you're, meeting the same thing, where an active coach or customer. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Well, that's it's the same thing as far as like you need to be a 2-star. You gotta have 2 diamonds from each level, and then the rest can be coached for customers. Yeah. And then 5-star, you just need 5 diamonds, and then the rest can be, because they still count as an active coach or customer, so it's no different. So I think they have to stay active with that $15.95 in order to be an active customer. Each month. Yeah. So if they don't pay for a month, they're probably not going to be active. It's not clear on there, but I think that's probably how it's structured. Because they're still, because we're not requiring them to buy anything, we're just requiring them to have a membership. So that's what I think will keep them active as long as they keep paying. They have to pay that membership. Yes, because think about it, it requires them to buy something. You know, if they're paying a membership, I mean that's gotta be it. They haven't said that, like there's nothing out there that says it, but I think just it makes sense. You know, that's the difference in customer being or coach and customer. So the coaches are buying, they still pay that membership, but they're just not going to be active. So I think it's the other way around for customers. Yeah, if you can get them to a customer. But if they're not ordering anything anyways, they might not want it. You know, so. Yeah. So you could reach out to your current, coaches that you know that are just discount coaches. You know, I don't really know if it honestly be better or worse to convert a discount coach to a preferred customer if they're already a coach. I mean, unless Beachbody just kind of tells them you need to. They're just automatically going to turn it in. See, I think that might be the thing. I kind of think I remember reading that. So you might not really have to. You might just have to. Yeah. It's like they're not selling to anybody else. They're obviously a discount coach. You know? Because that's their whole compliance thing. I think. Hey, will these be posted? Hey, are these going to be recorded and posted and where?
Yeah, let me exit out of the Zoom and let them know.
All
right.
Chatting it up.
Okay. Thank you, ladies, for being on. I'm going to exit out of it, but we will post this recording. See you guys later on at 1.